Alright guys, welcome to this next video. We're going to talk a little bit about cardio. Basically, we're going to look at it from a fat loss and body composition perspective, and we're going to take a look at and see if we do need cardio for fat loss, and if we do, when we should use it, which type of cardio is better, and other alternatives for cardio. Okay, so in this video, we're purely going to look at it from a fat loss perspective. Okay, so if you do cardio a lot and that's your thing, and you like doing it, and you're not really worried too much about body composition, things you got there, then work away. That this is purely going to look at it from a fat loss perspective. Okay, kind of maybe a little bit controversial. Maybe some trainers use a lot of cardio in their programs, and I think that's the best way to lose fat. And then there's other trainers like myself that are not really against the cardio. We're not against cardio at all, but it's more of a thing that should be used and not abused. Okay, so typically, I try and keep cardio away for as long as possible, but I wouldn't say I hate doing cardio or I hate giving it out at all. Okay, it's kind of like a last resort, maybe kind of thing. Okay, so we're going to look at the first kind of mini topic. Do you need cardio for fat loss? Okay, and this is just going to be my opinion and things that I've read, and maybe some studies that I've read, and things I've used maybe with my clients and things I got there. Okay, so my answer to that would be yes and no. Okay, so typically somebody maybe who comes to me to begin with, and they're maybe carrying a lot of body fat, things I got there. Okay, typically those kind of people, in my opinion, should not be doing cardio, or they shouldn't even need to do cardio. So it's okay. Normally a diet, whenever we tidy up their nutrition, we cut out a lot of junk food, and we create a calorie deficit mainly just from the nutrition side of things. Those guys really should not need to do any sort of cardio at the start. Normally you find with people who are carrying a lot of body fat and maybe haven't really done a lot of weight training, you may find also that their lean body mass is quite low. Okay, so typically whenever I get people coming to me, high percentage of body fat, carrying a few stone of excess fat that they're trying to get rid of, they're primarily their first goal is fat loss, but secondly, closely followed, the goal should be to gain as much lean tissue as possible, and that's just not possible in a cardio environment. Okay, so like treadmills, cross trainers, cardio kind of classes, things you got there. Okay, so from that perspective, those guys do not need cardio and should be keeping it out for as long as possible. I've got 7, 8, 9 stone of people, and they haven't had to do a tap of cardio. Okay, so from that perspective, no, you don't. Okay, people who then do maybe need some cardio is at the other end of the scale. People who are maybe trying to get extremely lean. So in the cases of like show prep, photo shoots, or basically if you're trying to get down to single digit body fat, then at some stage you're probably going to need to do some form of cardio again. Okay, with that as well, it's kind of like a last resort approach. Okay, so with myself and my clients, we'll throw everything else into the pot before we bring in cardio. So that may mean they're already training twice a day. Both weight training sessions, or maybe like a strongman kind of session in the morning, tires, sledges, things like that. And then whenever their fat loss is plateaued with twice a day training, say 2 hours a day training, then we might bring in a little bit of cardio at the end. But typically that's in the last 3 or 4 weeks maybe, before the show. And those guys are, if they're a guy, they're probably already sitting 7-8% before they bring in their cardio. If they're checked, they're coming close to single digits. Okay, so in that case, those guys may need a little bit extra training volume as such. Okay, and we'll bring it in with some cardio. Okay, but on the whole, if you're just trying to lose a few pounds of body fat, increase your muscle mass to your fat mass kind of ratio, then you should not need to add in a lot of cardio. Okay, some of my clients, if they like doing cardio, okay, but fat loss not their goal, and they still like doing the cardio, then I will add some in after sessions. But that's their personal preference. Okay, if somebody's happy doing cardio and they want to do it, I let them work away. Okay, I've no real questions about that. But from a fat loss perspective, no, in my opinion, you do not need cardio to get lean. Okay. The thing is with people who chuck in cardio straight away from the start, and this can be well, mainly kind of associated with people who are prepping for shows and photo shoots stuff. If they chuck in a lot of cardio at the start, they leave themselves short of options. Maybe 6, 7, 8 weeks in their diet. They started out week one, their weight training sessions, calorie deficit from their diet, and they've chucked in maybe 2 hours of cardio per week right from the start. What those people find whenever they come maybe to 6, 7 weeks in, and normally around that stage, fat loss will start to slow down. And that doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter whether you're Joe Public looking to lose a few pounds or somebody getting on stage. Normally after 6, 7, 8 weeks, your body will adapt to what you've been doing. Okay. So your deficit, if basically what I'm saying is, okay, if you've lost this X amount of weight, okay, over 6, 7, 8 weeks, your body will slow down, okay, and it'll adjust to your new sort of metabolic rate as such and things like that there. Okay, so normally after 6, 7, 8 weeks, you've got to add something else to the fire, okay. So if you've chucked in a lot of cardio at the start, 2 hours, say 2 hours a week, and you come to 6 weeks, you've got to put in another extra hour a week to kickstart some fat loss again. The time you come to 12, 14 weeks, you're maybe on 4, 5, 6 hours of cardio a week. Whereas if you keep that out at the start and then bring it in, when your fat loss starts to slow down or plateau, then you've got so much more to play about with. Okay, so if you bring a lot of cardio from the start, you're going to leave yourself short of options, and you're going to really have to put on a lot of training volume in your final few weeks if you're trying to get super lean and things like that there. Okay, so next topic we're going to look at is the question of HIIT or less. Okay, so HIIT is high intensity interval training, and this is low intensity steady state cardio. Okay, so with HIIT typically things maybe like intervals. Okay, so where I train out of, we'll have like a stairmaster or such. So that's what I use myself and with my clients. Okay, so typically they'll have maybe a minute fast as such, and then they'll have a 30, 45 second maybe slower at a slower pace, and it'll go up and down again maybe for 15 to 20 minutes. So you may see guys doing like hill sprints and things like that. They're typically stuff like that that's short and sweet. So for about a minute, you're expending a lot of energy. Slow down for about 30, 40 seconds, and you go again. You maybe repeat that 6, 7, 8 times. So typically that's what you'll get associated with interval training. Okay. Low intensity steady state cardio, and can be anything, basically anything from a walk basically is kind of steady state. So that could be maybe walking up a hill on a treadmill for maybe 30, 40 minutes, cross trainer 30, 40 minutes, things like that are normally something we'll associate with steady state cardio. Okay, so we're going to take a little look at which is better and what should you be doing, and sort of pros and cons for both of those. Okay, so if you're looking at the studies and the research as such, HIIT is proven um, kind of the daddy for whenever it comes to fat loss as such. Okay, with HIIT, you'll kind of get like an afterburn effect, if you want to call it there. So in the hours after you've performed your interval training, you're going to burn more calories in that kind of window compared to maybe the LA, or compared to the steady state, where you're not really going to get that kind of effect. Okay, if you started doing a lot of steady state cardio to begin with, you'll find your body can actually adjust to that a little quicker than with a HIIT. Okay, so after, say you're doing a HIIT for maybe 1 or 2 weeks, you'll find your fat loss again slow down, and you're going to have to have more low intensity. If you started half an hour a week, you might find after 2 or 3 weeks you're up to an hour. 6 weeks you're up to an hour and a half per day. Over a course of a week, you're adding up 7, 8, 9 hours of cardio per week. Okay, LISS or steady state, due to kind of the long time frame as such, it has been shown to kind of reduce your lean body mass. Okay, so if you're already in a highly calorie deficit, you're a couple of weeks out from the show, and you're chucking in 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a week of cardio, you're going to expect to lose some form of muscle tissue. Is going to happen. Okay, with the HIIT, you're not really going to get that as such. Okay, it'll speed up your metabolism things throughout the day, and enabling you to burn a little more cardio as such. Okay, or a little more fat. Sorry. Coming back to the time kind of issue, that is one drawback to the steady state. You'll maybe see guys doing an hour or two of that a day, on top of their training sessions. So some people just don't have that time available to them. So in that instance, HIIT is a better option if you want to be a little more time efficient. Okay, typically 15-20 minutes and you're done. Okay, it also allows you to bring in a lot more HIIT sessions compared to steady state as such. Okay, in saying that, there I like to use a little bit of both. Whenever I actually do come to do the cardio side of things, so typically I'll use steady state maybe after a leg session, just a little bit of active recovery. So I might just set the treadmill to a relatively steep incline, and I'll maybe walk for 30-40 minutes, and I might do that once or twice a week. But for me, that'll be as far as my steady state cardio will go. I'll not draw it out into a couple of hours per day, per week as such. Okay. Normally after my other sessions, my push pulls, my resistance sessions, I'll use some HIIT, some interval training, and I'll start out with just 10 minutes after each session, and then whenever my fat loss will slow down or plateau slightly, I'll bump it up to 15 minutes. So I'll take it up very gradually, over a period of a couple of weeks. So I'll not chuck in a lot to begin with. Okay, and I'll leave myself some maneuver room. Okay. And typically, I've never really had to go over 20-25 minutes for my HIIT sessions ever, in any of my preps or for my photo shoots, my shows, or whatever. Okay. So we're going to take a quick look at when is the best time to do your cardio. Okay. So this can depend on a few things. Typically, I'll get my clients and myself doing the most of the cardio post resistance session. Okay. That is far better time to do it. Some people you'll find they'll do a lot of cardio before they go do the weight sessions. Okay, and you're kind of doing it arse about face. Okay, it's far more optimal for fat loss to be doing your cardio immediately after your weight sessions. So it's okay. You'll find maybe your carb stores maybe slightly a bit more depleted, and your body be knocking in to your body fat stores a lot more efficiently. Okay, if you do it the other way about and you sort of kind of um, carb deplete slightly in your cardio session, whenever you come to do your weights, you're going to find your performance is going to be dramatically reduced. Okay, so if you're going to do your cardio, keep it post workout after your sessions. We're going to come on to the next kind of topic then about fasted cardio and doing cardio in the morning. Is it better? Is it not? Is it better for fat loss? And things you got there. Okay, so I was reading a study on this a couple of weeks ago. It was pretty interesting. The something that kind of already backed up what I already kind of believed in, and things got there. Okay, whenever it comes to fasted cardio, I'm not really a big believer in it at all. I know there's a lot of people out there to think they're going to burn a lot more body fat doing their cardio fasted in the morning. Well, from my experience, I lost quite a lot of muscle tissue whenever I trained, whenever I did my cardio fast in the morning for my first show. Okay, and I've never ever done it since that. Okay, so from my experience, it just didn't work. Okay, yeah, I got lean, but it was probably to do with a lot of other variables. And I lost um, quite a bit of muscle tissue from my fasted cardio. Okay, um, the research does show that there's really no difference um, between the subjects who done their cardio fasted and those who ate some food before they went and done it. Okay, and I kind of agree with that. So you can actually burn if you're going to eat some food before you're going to do your cardio, before you do your weight session in the morning. You're actually going to burn more body fat in the 24-hour period after your session. Okay, and that really just comes from like the thermogenic kind of effect from food and things you got there. Okay. Um, Also, if you're not going to train before you eat, some people may find that that can lead to reduced kind of training performance. You might fatigue out a little quicker. Okay, if you're going to fatigue out a little quicker, you'll probably find your sessions may not be as intense, and they may not be as long. Okay, so if you find your sessions aren't intense or as intense, you're not going to burn as many calories even throughout that session due to a lack of energy. Okay, so my advice would be to have a small meal, a small fat protein meal before you go and train in the morning. Even something as simple as like a coffee and maybe some coconut oil, some BCAAs, something as simple as that there, just to keep you ticking over But typically I'll have, whenever I come to do that kind of thing, I'll have a proper breakfast, a high fat, high protein meal, before I go and do any sort of early morning cardio or training. Okay, that's just from my experience. So it is. So if we're not into the whole cardio thing, what other alternatives out there are there out there, for burning body fat? Things you got there. Okay, so I think I've already mentioned about the twice a day training. So whenever I come to prep myself and prep my clients, if they can, most of them people I've trained or for shows that have been trainers themselves, so they've been able to be flexible with their diaries and their timing and such. Okay, that may not be possible for somebody's in like a 9 to 5, 9 to 6 kind of office job. Okay, twice a day training. Some people may not just have the time for that kind of thing. Okay, so there's that option there. Twice a day training. Okay, you'll also get to eat a little more food. On your prep, your carb intake maybe will be slightly higher. And things you got there. Okay. Um, Other things like strongman circuits and maybe like barbell complexes. So things like tires, ropes, sledges, things you got there. If you have that available to you, not every gym has that kind of facility. Okay, so if you have something like that there, or maybe you have like a battle rope, you can do some. You can even do some interval training with a battle ropes. I use that sometimes with my clients, and it's a little more fun than sticking them on a treadmill for 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. Other things you could use, the barbell complexes is pretty good. So you maybe pick 4 or 5 compound exercises, pick a barbell. Don't go too mad on the weight side of thing. Okay, pick 4 or 5 exercises, maybe 10, 15 reps per exercise, and bang them out, one after each other. So you maybe getting 50, 60 reps per round. Okay, take a rest and bang out maybe 5, 6, 7 rounds. I use that a lot with some of my clients. So do I find that's pretty effective. You're going to build muscle tissue, you're going to burn body fat, and you're going to get a pretty big sweat on. So you are. So that's a few options out there if cardio is not really your kind of thing. So takeaway points then from this kind of video. One, if you do cardio and you enjoy doing cardio, work away. Two, if fat loss is primarily your goal and you're not a massive fan of cardio, then keep it out for as long as possible and bring it in when you need to. Cardio should be used, not abused. There's too many people chugging on cardio right from the start, and then they're going to leave themselves stuck 6, 7, 8 weeks into their diet. And the only real solution to that is to add more cardio. Um, Come the end of your prep, 12, 14 weeks, you're going to be doing a lot of work. Make things easier for yourself at the start. Keep it out, bring it in whenever you need to, whenever your fat loss slows down. So that's my take on it. If you have any other questions on the cardio side of things, then just drop them in the comment section below this or message me on any of my social media sites.